Hey, 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 Anthony, you are looking much better than I recall you looking.
It's all that hair.
That's what it is.
I'm Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality.
Hey, everybody. I am, of course, Glenn Hausman, and we got with us today Dr. Producer Suzanne Bagnera. Anthony Melchiori is on assignment today. Suzanne, so great to see you. How are you?
Awesome. Thanks for having me up front today.
Yeah, so listen, my hair's been growing longer and longer. I think I'm going to get a haircut, but maybe I should just go with a pompadour. What do you
I don't know. I'm sure Anthony's going to be very vocal if you show up looking that way.
I might, just to make him feel bad about his current folic condition.
That could be one strategy. I'm employing it.
Well, it's great to see everybody today. And today's exciting because we're going to be talking to some folks about, creating an interesting business that's kind of hospitality, but also kind of hospitality adjacent that I think you guys are going to find super, super interesting. But before we do that, Suzanne, I'll tell you this whole COVID thing, we've been talking about it. It's getting me really stressed right now that people are starting to retreat a little bit. They're thinking that maybe we shouldn't do some traveling, although I'm a big proponent of us being out there, being on the road. And according to a new confidence index developed by a company called Travel Again, roughly 6 in 10 travelers, 62% of business travelers, 58% of leisure travelers feel COVID will have the same or greater impact in their lives in 22 than it did in 2021. What's your gut telling you on that one, Suzanne?
I think on some level, you still got to be flexible and adaptable. And so, from a standpoint of investing money into going on a trip or a vacation, I was even helping someone recently trying to talk through, where did they do a wedding venue?
Right.
And investing. I said, not for nothing, I think you probably do it stateside and then think about doing an anniversary or a vow renewal or something a couple of years down the road when things are a little bit easier. So you can still do the event, but do it in a different, safer way so that you're not losing deposit money and playing sorts of games that way.
Well, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this chart. This traveler index has kind of been going up. It's kind of been going down. But the one thing I noticed is that even though business travelers, less confident, less confident, leisure travelers seem to be feeling pretty grooving about how they're feeling, pretty steady throughout this. And I think that's pretty much a good indicator of why we're continuing to see a strong leisure business compared to that business traveler, particularly in urban cores. But one thing that's really upsetting me is that the amount of people going to these conferences is really dropping right now. As a matter of fact, CES attendance at about 40,000 attendees, which is a significant drop than it normally does. It typically has over 100,000 attendees in a normal year.
Yeah, I know a lot of my conferences that I've been a part of in the past and even for this year, looking at making that decision in pivoting, especially when it comes to business related travel.
Right.
Do they have the funds? What does that mean? So it certainly makes that kind of challenge. And especially from the producers of trying to put on those events and making those pivotal decisions. They are not easy on any level.
No, my understanding is that for the America's Lodging Investment Summit coming up on Monday, the 24th of January, they have more than 1,300 people already registered. Of course, it's secondhand knowledge I got, but it supposedly comes from Jeff Higley, the president of the company that runs that particular event. That's a pretty solid number for right now. I'm hoping that it doesn't drop, that people don't feel like maybe they shouldn't go. But I'm starting to feel that people, especially in our business, Suzanne, are all about, hey, let's just go. We've got to continue to be out there. We've kind of got to make business done. And I'm also kind of feeling general sentiment overall is, and Anthony's been talking about this, I've been talking about this, politicians are starting to talk about this. We've got to figure out a way to live with it and have semi-normal lives. Right, Suzanne?
True. And for our viewers, as a reminder, that is the ALICE conference, because you finally broke out the acronym, which is awesome.
I'm not trying to confuse everybody.
Just want to keep everybody in tune to that. And
this is why we've got such a great producer here to keep me on track.
And so from that vantage point, I would say, what does that even look like for who are the people that are even waiting for that last minute to make sure that they feel safe? So what do you start thinking about? Many ways we've done things in the past, as you may have done early bird pricing and rates that are out there for incentive to book. But how does that make a change in what you're doing and putting out there for those people that are trying to wait? I'm in the notion of travel, and we've got to just figure out how to do it and be safe about it and continue to live our lives. And you two, both you and Anthony, have been phenomenal at getting out there and traveling and doing it safely, but still doing it, because that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, that's right. And right now I'll be attending the ALICE conference. Like I said, the last week of January, I will see hopefully everybody at the NEWH Leadership Forum in Seattle, where we're going to be broadcasting our hotel design podcast live. And then, of course, Sean Worker and myself are going to be in Las Vegas for Radisson Hotels America's annual conference. We're going to be hosting a big super session, all based on our book, The Adapters. Don't worry, guys. You can still get your copy right now at Amazon.com. Of course, we're talking about the adapters, learn how to adapt and innovate, and how we focus on all the gutsy genius thinkers in the world of hospitality. So, all right. So Daniel is saying, oh boy, his hotel has flatlined. Occupancy is way off. The variant is absolutely confusing. Daniel, I agree with your sentiments. Producer Dave was just telling us yesterday about his occupancy numbers. I'm not going to reveal them right now, but they seem to be on par with what's going on in other places in New York City. People are getting anxious, but I really wish they wouldn't. I wish they would continue to travel. I wish they would just keep pushing forward, because I thought we had such great momentum going there, Suzanne.
We certainly did. And I know Dave has been real frustrated. As a point of reference, I just want to go back, because it's my professor duties. Right. The NEWH, the Hospitality Industry Network. So just keeping that on target for everybody.
Yes. NEWH is a great organization. If you don't know them, that's probably because you're more on the financial side of the business. Those folks are more on the design side of the business. So if you want to get engaged in what's happening in the design community, all of the vendors in that design community, everyone that really supports the creation of all the beautiful things we see here in the hotel, that's like right behind me right now, well, that is the place to be. And I can't wait to be doing a live no vacancy show from there, recording some hotel design podcasts from there, and having a great excuse just to go to Seattle, because I love that city.
Have you checked out the market where they do the flying fish?
Of course I have.
Right. I haven't done that, so it's on my bucket list.
Oh, Suzanne, I stayed at a really cool hotel just a couple of blocks from there. And while you're dodging fish, you can be sure to check out the original Starbucks location, which is down in the market area as well.
That's right. Very true.
It even has their old school logo on it and all of that kind of stuff. So before we bring on our guest, Colleen is saying, yay, her book is being sent from Sarah. I got my notification too that it's going to be on the way. So I'm very excited.
I feel the love, because I beat out you, Glenn. Woohoo!
You probably pulled the trigger on buying it first. I'm slow.
I did it the day she announced it. Yeah. I was really excited.
It took me a little while. All right. So what we've been doing is we've been talking about travel. People are scared to travel, but leisure travel, as we said, has been strong. And one of the big benefactors has been, of course, Airbnb, right? It's an opportunity for you to connect with the people you want to under the rules of engagement that you want to. And there's so many great hosts out there, so many great products out there that people are discovering. But one of the really cool things is there is a way for those hosts to make more money beyond just selling those suites. And that's why we got some great guests today, Suzanne. Suzanne, do you want to stick with us for this?
Sure.
All right. We're going to bring on Annie Sloan, CEO of the Host Co., and Mikel Hubbard, also from the host.co. Hey, guys, how are you?
Good. Great. How are you?
I'm loving this conversation so far.
All right. So since you're loving it so much, Annie, I'm putting you on the spot. What are you seeing right there when you're thinking about travel, and what other people are doing when it comes to travel and staying in places like hosted venues such as Airbnb?
Yeah. I mean, what you're saying completely resonates with us. We are in essentially the leisure travel space.
Yep.
Because our product exists in places that are short-term rentals, that are generally standalone short-term rentals.
Yep.
We are also seeing this trend, obviously, because of COVID, that people are staying longer.
Yep.
With a quarter of Airbnb stays are now.
Do me a favor. Don't say the word bleisure. Oh, I just said it.
Oh, gosh. Okay. I was trying not to say it. Leisure. Okay. We'll just call it work leisure. So in our space, which is that short-term rental space, I know probably a lot of people are listening that are going, don't talk about it. But in our space, it is absolutely booming. And it's booming. As you know, Airbnb had their best quarter ever.
Yep.
As of late last year. So it is dipping a little bit right now, but people in general are trying to get out of big cities and go to those second locations. And not only that, it's not just Airbnb, right? Because of the way COVID has changed things, people are much more amenable to short-term rental spaces.
Right.
So there's Blue Group, there's Sonder, there's Picasa, where all of these new types of hybrid spaces are coming online. Outside of Airbnb. And not only that, you now have things like swimming pool rentals by the hour. You have tennis court rentals by the hour. All of these different types of kind of leisure rentals are coming online, which are definitely different than hospitality, but specifically short-term rentals. So for us, it has been great. And there's also another trend, which is so fascinating. Young millennials, or just millennials in general. I know that's kind of
they're young to me, so I get it.
Exactly. They're young to me too. They in the last couple of years have wanted to get out of LA, out of New York, right? But they can't afford to buy homes in those big cities because millions of dollars. They are buying homes in those second cities, in those cities that are 2.5 hours away, in Joshua Tree, in Kingston, New York, in Phoenicia, New York, in Truckee, California, which is 2 hours from San Francisco. Right. And then they are working from there when they can, and then they're renting out those spaces when they have to go back to the city for work. So it has created this absolute storm, which is a good storm for us in terms of bringing people online. Airbnb reported late last year that they had 14,000 new hosts coming online per month.
Woo! That's absolutely incredible. And I don't mean to brag, but you mentioned Kingston, New York, and I happen to be the person of the day in Kingston, New York, back in 1981.
What?
Wow. Thank you very much. The best part was I got a multi-record set of that week's America's Top 40, hosted by Casey Kasem. Little 11-year-old me was like, "Woo!" This is awesome.
Did you get the request and dedication from Casey Kasem? Is my question.
No, he just yelled at me about having a story about a dead dog and then trying to go into an up tune or something. If you guys don't know that, if you guys don't know that clip, check it out online. It is freaking hysterical. Michael, let's get you in here talking. Who's that dude behind you with that great mustache?
I don't know. He is some I'm assuming he's some sort of TV or movie producer from 1920. That was why I chose him.
That's really
my living room.
I love it. So, Michael, you helped co-found the company. Maybe since she gave us such a great understanding of the state of Airbnb, tell us a little bit about what the Host Co is, why you guys founded it.
Yeah, so I've been an Airbnb host since 2013. Started in Tahoe, then expanded to Joshua Tree, then Death Valley. And what I was finding was there's just nobody to help you. Once you start an Airbnb, you're essentially running your own small business, but there's no one guiding you. And I'd worked in television, and I met people that, would work for hotel chains, and they're like, "Oh yeah, people come to you and they bring you soap samples. They bring you, towels to try for your hotel, but nobody does this or advises you." So I said, well, how can we help hosts? So we started with an Instagram page that was providing information for hosts, but wanted to be much bigger than that. So then we said, well, let's develop technology to help hosts do things like sell things in their Airbnb. So that's when I connected with Annie, who is also doing her own Airbnb stuff, and off we ran.
That's awesome. Now I've got over here at the Houseman Resort Pool Club and Smokehouse in Smithtown, Long Island. I don't know if we have much of an opportunity to do it, but if I was in one of those main cities, secondary cities, it sounds like it's a really great opportunity for people to do it. Suzanne?
Well, I was going to say, from a hotel perspective, in the past as a GM, we used to provide opportunities to buy items that were in the room. So maybe you can talk a little bit more to the items that are in the room, local products. Give us a little flavor for what offerings are available.
Yeah, and I'm happy to share it with Michael. Michael and I could go back and forth on this here, but
that's the goal. We want everybody
Yeah.
to feel like they're participating. A little show tip for everybody. It's difficult when you're hosting and moderating these things. I feel so riddled with guilt. Like if someone is not talking, like that whole opening, Annie, that you were doing, I just kept looking at Michael going, oh, poor guy. Let's get him in. All right, Annie, take it away.
So with our platform, a host or anyone with any sort of short-term rental, boutique hotel, swimming pool, you name it, you can create a store quickly. And in that store, you can sell items that you stock in the house. So everything from snacks to the art on the walls to cool mugs.
Right.
And then you can add pre-order services. So things like, hey, add fresh flowers before I arrive. Awesome. Decorate for a birthday party before I arrive. Stock my pantry before I arrive. So it's a little bit more than just what's in the house. And very soon, in about a month, we'll also have some services that you can integrate. Things like, hey, get alcohol delivered in 1 hour. Get groceries from our favorite grocery store, and you make the affiliate profit on those. So it's essentially bringing those amenities, the mini bar, the gift shop, the concierge, to all short-term rentals, which doesn't exist. And often that's why people choose a hotel instead, right? But with our platform, a host can add, hey, we'll do a midweek cleaning, and they can upsell that to you your entire stay.
Right. Fantastic. That's fantastic. I love this idea. Now, you folks out there that are watching the hotel business, you know this is not a new idea, but it's new to this space. A little history lesson. If we go back to when the Heavenly Bed was first created in the late 1990s, it was such a big deal. They started to roll that out for home purchases. And since then, a lot of hotel companies have tried to sell their stuff, and they do an okay job, but there hasn't really been a strong effort behind it to make that something that people are going to do constantly. So, Michael, how are you approaching it to not just give it a good idea so people can make more money, but to actually get those consumers to like what they see in the spaces and then buy?
Well, we found from the get-go that people want to buy. They're on vacation. So even putting stuff on hats. Did we freeze? Sorry.
Nope.
So even putting
in a rural area, so you might have frozen, but
I know I'm in Joshua Tree, so we're out
I got
there.
my fancy pants Ethernet here, so we're not freezing. Oh, you're lucky to be in Joshua Tree. That's really nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. But we found that you can put a $125 sun hat in the room, and people just want to shop. They're on vacation. They want to buy things, and especially you put these stores in remote locations like Joshua Tree or Death Valley or the mountains in Montana. And you're so far from services and stuff that if it's right there in the room, you'll just pick it up. And I think that that's a really helpful service for people. So it's not just about the host making money, but it's making a better experience for the guest. If you don't want to provide things like sleep masks and earplugs and people are stealing them, if they'll give you a little bit of money for it, you can essentially open a convenience store in your home for all the stuff that can make a better guest experience without you having to just provide it for free.
Right.
What are you finding to be maybe the top 5 items that people are making purchases on?
Oh, good.
I mean, we found that sunscreen is super popular. Lip balm, because if you've ever been without lip balm, you will pay $1 million for it. Earplugs are super popular because if you can't sleep, you will be digging.
People that are sleeping in the same house as me. I get it, Michael.
Yeah. We found that like flavored sparkling waters, sort of like drinks or snacks, are also really popular, especially with people that have kids that show up and the kids are hungry now. They'll buy whatever is in your cabinet. And then we've also found that like shade hats are really popular. We're also, we're working from Southern California, so there's a lot of sunny climate. People come from all over. They're not prepared for what they're in for.
They're not?
It's a no shade hike in the desert.
Yeah, right.
So yes, we found those things do really well.
And we've also found, we just released our 1.0 version to the public in mid-November. We'd been testing in Southern California, and we now, which is very exciting, we have an over 800 host waitlist.
Wow.
Which we should be able to get through that in the next 2 months. So please do sign up. But we've had so many hosts tell us what interesting and unique things they want to sell. So, hey, I have a rental in New Orleans. I'm going to offer a Mardi Gras box, and everyone's going to want it, right? Full of product. Right. I am going to, decorate for a birthday party. Hey, we have a movie room in our house and we want to sell concessions. So, we created this so that hosts can stock their own products. We do offer recommendations and send out bundles, but it is so cool. We have hosts who have said, I'm going to add products that guests break all the time, so that it's a much easier way for them to reimburse us for them, which is, it's so beyond what we'd initially planned with our technology. And it's just so fun to watch it grow.
I love the idea of those local boxes, Suzanne, for example, because to me, that's what I really like. I really like to have a taste of the locality when I'm there, and to think about walking into my place in New Orleans and having that mix I could take home from Cafe Du Monde, and some, red beans and rice stuff that I could take home, because I know they sell the bags of that at the airport that you could
have a little king cake with the baby in it to like really get that feel, because you might not know exactly where to go find it.
Some beads and some alcohol. It sounds like the perfect combination to me. So, Michael, you think by bundling some of these things and putting a little fanfare behind it's going to help get people more engaged in purchasing those products in a kind of like an on-the-spot kind of moment?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, if you've ever been on vacation and forgot to buy souvenirs for your family until the last minute, and you can just pick something up right there in the home that you can take back and give to your coworkers to thank them for covering for you while you've been gone, give to your family, because you probably didn't send a postcard, because we don't do that anymore. I think it's something that people will walk away with. I think it's a chance for hosts to really be creative and take ownership of their space. It's part of what hosts like to do with a short-term rental, is provide their own version of hospitality. And so this is a chance for them to provide the things that they would want if they were on vacation.
Right. Suzanne?
I was going to say almost pre-stamped postcards, bring that trend back.
Writing that down.
Pre-stamped, and do me a favor, pre-written would be really awesome.
I mean, we had a host that came up with the clever idea to have a Polaroid camera in their home and then sell the film in their store, so that you could take like vacation photos, old school, and have them to take.
That's a great idea. I really love that, because seriously, because when you're in an Airbnb style product, or one of those great apartments from Sonder, for example, and Annie, Michael, I've stayed in a number of those before. To have something like that, the kitschy value, people are just going to pick it up and start to play with it, put that cartridge of 10 shots in there, and just go to town. Any other cool ideas like that you've seen, Annie?
Yeah, so we have found this really cool insight that in a hotel minibar, you have those things that just generically everyone needs. But the things that people want when they're on that leisure travel is they want something that fits with their experience, because often they're going there literally just for the Airbnb. They might not leave all weekend, right?
Right.
So things like those paper spa face masks, robes, if you're in a cold location, a bright colored beanie, popcorn, extra firewood. We say there's a certain level of hospitality that always should be provided for free. Give them, bottle of wine and the chocolates, right? But above and beyond that, people really want anything that increases their feeling of being in that location. Right. And those are the things that are also selling really well. There's things like $125 sun hats in Joshua Tree. Of course, it is a souvenir. You're also taking it on your hike. You're also taking photos. So that's becoming a huge part of it, is selling the experience.
Yeah, like you could have a fire pit in your Tahoe home, but sell them s'mores. It's like then they'll talk about that with the kids for years to come. So
this is a really, really clever idea. I love how you've taken something and really transformed it into something that's a really valuable service, but also makes money. And one of the things, everybody, that we've been talking about is how can we make more money per guest in the hotel business, and also in the world of vacation rentals. It's been, how much do we sell this room for? What is the revenue per available room, as opposed to the revenue per available human being, right? And what you're doing is you're saying, hey, let's not charge people on the room. Let's see how we could fully maximize our financial opportunity by appealing to folks beyond just having a great place that they could set their family vacation to. Annie, I know you want to say something about that. I love how you're nodding.
That is exactly what we say. And I feel like that's in general in the hospitality industry, the main target. We look at hotels, and we have seen so much, sure, you're making the room, but then you have the room service, you have the extra cleaning, we offer dry cleaning, and how for all of these, there are about 10 million short-term rentals globally right now. Each of those people is a small business owner. We know the platforms tend to be very kumbaya. It's all about making friends. it's all about running a small business.
Right.
And how do we add that for everyone to upsell in their small business?
That's fascinating. Suzanne?
So I would love to hear a little bit more for our viewers when you talked about having delivery within an hour or so. How are you going about that for those small business owners that maybe have another job, and how do you provide that service?
And then I'll take that one, and then Michael, I'll let you go.
Yeah, totally.
No, go, Annie, go.
Woohoo!
Go.
So in a store, it is based on your zip code. So let's say you create a store in Joshua Tree. Yeah, when you're building your store, you will have the option to add extra things like Drizzly alcohol delivery, Instacart delivery, and it is essentially linking to that service that is available in your area.
So Annie, hold on a sec. So what you said before, then Drizzly will give you a percentage of any sales made through you, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
go on. Sorry.
Gotcha.
Which can really add up because the average Drizzly sale is over $70, and you get 3% for 10 days. So
Wow.
yeah, if you have a bachelorette party in Nashville and you have 15 girls who are constantly getting alcohol delivered, you're gonna make a lot of money. And that's also a way for us. Some hosts will stock products in their house. Some hosts might say, it's just a headache for me, but we also have a number of completely passive options for hosts like delivery. And if delivery is not available in your area, you won't even see it as an option to put it in your store.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Makes
Michael?
sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, part of it for us too is bridging that gap between being short-term rental and being a hotel and being able to offer those services. So even things like having a massage or having a personal chef come and cook you guys breakfast or something like that. We want to be able to offer those services. And so a lot of hosts already have those connections, already make those recommendations and coordinate them. So why not take a cut of that if you're doing all the work to do it? So you provide that service, then you coordinate it and you take a cut. So I think, as a host forever, I've been recommending restaurants, I've been recommending tours, I've been recommending masseurs, and I don't get anything for it. It's just part of my job. So if I can get a little money off the top, then it makes it more worthwhile to provide those services.
So would a restaurant, if you send people in, they would give you guys a little bit of love based on that as well?
Well, we're talking about partnering with companies like OpenTable, where if people make reservations, then there's some sort of residual money that goes back to the host.
How do you make it so it goes through your systems as opposed to me just going straight to Drizzly if I'm staying in a place?
That is a very good question. So what we have found is that hosts, so I live in Oakland, California. My husband's from New York. Whenever we go, I'm like, wait, what rental, what service do they use? Oh, I use Postmates here, but you use Grubhub here. And which pizza, it's 11 p.m. We're hungry. Which pizza place? So it's a way to expedite those things, especially if you're coming from overseas too. And you don't
least resistance. Right.
Yeah, path of least resistance. And it is all affiliate links. So you as the host, you just put it in your store, a guest clicks on it. If they order something, first time user, you get $10 from Instacart. So it is really streamlining the process so that that guest, I think we've all been there. You're like, okay, wait, what is this place? And then you Yelp 7 places. And then an hour and a half later, everyone's hangry.
That's
right.
Yeah, I know what that's like, but that usually follows a discussion of what do you want to do for dinner? I don't know. What do you want to do for dinner? Yeah. One of my sons refuses to talk now because we rely on him to tell us what.
Oh my gosh.
For dinner every single night. He's like, I'm done. I'm out. I can't do this anymore. So, Michael, I got that floppy hat. I see it. It's beautiful. I got to take that floppy hat home. So I help myself. I go home. How does the owner get paid when they sell that floppy hat? How does something like that work if it's a physical item in the structure?
So then when the guests purchase it, the host co takes 7% on the host end and 8% on the guest end, and then the rest gets returned to the host via PayPal.
So, but how do you even know? Like if I see the roll of Polaroid film and I just help myself to it, how do I know that item's been sold? Because when I see mini bars in hotels, if I stare at the mini bar too long.
Yeah, exactly.
So what is your system to make sure that everything is fair?
When you purchase, well, first of all, we recommend that if items are super valuable that you can lock them in a cabinet. So you can have the placard for your store with the QR code. And if there's things that you're worried about people stealing per se, you can put it in a locked cabinet with maybe a luggage lock. And then when they purchase it through the app, then they'll get the directions on how to open it and get access to it. You can also have the cleaner take a photo of it before and after. But, you know, with Airbnbs, we've developed this system of the honor system that's worked really well. And so that we found that we haven't had very much theft in these things. So when somebody purchases something, you as the host get an email and it lets you know if there's low stock. It lets you know that something's been sold. And so you can even go through the site and track your inventory.
Cool. That's pretty awesome. Suzanne?
I'm interested to hear how you might go about handling any type of complaints, because now you're dealing with an additional third party and sometimes you're relying on them for that service, and not everybody has that same ethic.
Yes. So we have a 4-layer, of course, this is such a CEO thing to say. We have a 4-layer theft prevention system. It is one,
does it have a fancy word where each letter stands for something else?
It has a little TM next to it. But the first one is a guest for those higher value items doesn't get the location of that item until after they have already purchased it. And at that time, they do click on that terms of service that says, if items are missing, you will be charged for those items. The third thing is, hosts review guests as guests reviewing hosts. So if you take an item, you will never rent, you will never rent again. Additionally, if you're a guest and you never open the store, you never even see the Hostco store, you're simply stealing from an Airbnb. So, if someone steals the chandelier, it has nothing to do with us. Additionally, we have a 5th layer, which is we do have a dispute department. So if someone does take something and doesn't pay for it, or they purchase one sunblock and 10 are missing, we have their payment information, and we also have our terms of service that say, hey, if anything is missing, you are responsible for that. So we have found we can resolve that dispute much more quickly. I'm just going to say short-term rental services. It's generally a long process if someone takes something. And also as a host, particularly if you have multiple units, it's which one was it? What was that communication? How is that? So it's a much faster way to do it is through our platform. But thus far, it's been working very well for that. I'm sure as we grow and as we have that, Nashville bachelorette party with 15 girls, things like that tend to happen. But we
gotta
do
watch out
have
for those Nashville bachelorette parties. I've seen them in action.
They're brutal.
Stay away. That's my recommendation.
Speaking of, if you sell a box of colorful wigs and sunglasses, if you have that in your unit in Nashville, it's just $150 that you're getting every single time. So
I love this idea. How cool is that? Suzanne, any other thoughts or questions that you got over there?
No, I wish you all the best as you turn over those next 800 waitees to get on board the platform. It sounds exciting for all of you.
Yeah. So before we wrap this up, did we miss anything that we fundamentally must know about here before we allow you to do a shameless plug?
Something really interesting, and I'll just add this at the end. Michael and I met. We used to be producers at HGTV, and
that's pretty cool. Yes, I do recall that from the pitch. Yes.
And a lot of what we're doing is also because we love decor and we love style. So a big part of that is how do we get that into units, and how for us going into units that we stay in, we want to buy the stuff. Right? Down the line, we'll also be able to recommend, if someone's always saying, where'd you get your couch? We'll be able to, go to my store. You can click a link to that and there'll be an affiliate for that. Right? So send them over to West Elm and you'll make $5. So we're just able to continue bolting on things that our hosts are asking for to our technology as we grow, which is a very exciting part.
Right. All right. So I don't have any discernible talents whatsoever, but I'm hoping that maybe you could turn Suzanne and I into the next Chip and Joanna games. You think we could work on that?
Done.
How are your house flipping skills?
Yeah.
I am really good though. I must say, of taking a bite of food and they're going, so I could do that. All right. All right.
Does it.
Michael, how can we find you guys? How can we learn more about the Hostco?
You can go to www.thehost.co and you can sign up for our early adapter list. You can read all about us and see what we're up to. We encourage you to come experiment on the platform and give us feedback so that we can keep adapting this thing to work better for hosts.
Not just for service departments, also for your boutique hotels over there. Don't let that opportunity escape you, because we've got a lot of hoteliers that pay attention to this show. So want to make sure that any message before we go on how you can help add incremental sales to hotels out there, not just other things.
So our platform is totally agnostic to any type of rental. If you are a boutique hotel and you want to upsell items, you can even have drop shipping items on our platform. So you can have things in the room and then you can drop ship them to guests. So any time of short-term rental, we just talked to someone who has 17 rooms in DC, right? And they said, I'm going to make a store for each room, right? And or you can have one store for everyone. You can have a store for each room. It is essentially the same thing as any short-term rental. So you can upsell, and you can also add more products. We have hosts in New York City who are adding luggage rental, because they're a tiny space and they have no way to do it before. They're adding late checkout, etc. So you're able to just overall upsell all of these items that you're probably doing now and you're not charging for.
And that's a really good point, because if you've got those really comfy, cozy pillows, why not add them to the list, have them sent to the people's home? They'll be there around the time that they get back. Michael, I feel like you wanted to say something else.
I can't tell you how many times hosts have come or guests have come to me and they said, we broke a coaster, we broke a wine glass, we stole a towel. And you're like, I can't be bothered to chase down this $3. If you just had a place where they could just go and pay you, then you can actually get paid for this stuff without the hassle of having to track it down.
That's news to me. I never told anybody when I broke it. Maybe the chandelier.
Glenn's linen closet is filled with hotel towels.
Listen, it's not the hotel's towels. It's just that my family name is Holiday Inn. It's just monogram. Guys, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. And lots of luck to you. And when you're up and officially launching, let us know. All right?
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you.
So much. Have a great one. That was so much fun. They're great. They're great personalities over there, Suzanne.
Indeed.
Right?
That's exciting. Great way to really drive that incremental revenue. Because
I really love that idea.
Making it easy for the guest and not, just not a hassle in that process.
And that's the whole thing, right? Everything that we talk about, even from travel, when we were talking about the COVID numbers scaring people, it's all about that hassle factor. If it's too much effort, you're just not going to do it. By removing all of that friction and making it super easy, people are already primed to buy. People are already ready to make that purchase. I love how easy they're doing it. That is so cool, Suzanne.
Yeah, great concept. So I wish them the best. I'm excited to see how they can continue to develop, and maybe down the road we'll hear from some hosts and how they've, driven their side of the business.
Yeah, I gotta get into that hosting game over here. Although I don't want people actually staying in my house, I want to build like a cabana or something like that out in back. You
could for the summer, right?
Yeah, it would be great. And then you could sell, pool front property. Maybe I could pair it with some smoked ribs and beans or something like that. I don't know.
And put it on the platform and sell those smoked ribs and beans.
That's what I could do. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for being here, Suzanne. Anything else you got to say before we do the official wrap-ups today?
No, Colleen, thank you for following. I appreciate your nice compliment.
Awesome. Remember, everybody, that nearly everybody actually listens to the show, doesn't necessarily watch us when we're on air, which is why we are in the top 0.5 of 1% of all podcasts on planet Earth. And I suspect, Suzanne, we might even be up there on Mars and beyond. I don't know. But the James Webb Space Telescope is working on that right now and will tell us come summer if any other planets have a higher listenership than we do. All right, find it on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, all of the places that you go. Well, we are there. I'm at Traveling Glenn. She's not at Anthony Hotels, but that's okay. How do we find you, Suzanne, if people want to connect with you?
You can find me at Indian River State College.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. Remember, you've got one life, so blaze on and
take care of yourself.
Beautiful. Loved it. You nailed it, because I screw it up every time. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. See you tomorrow.